My amplified unit, salute. It is a big weekend for the NFL. Two big championship games. The NFC Championship, the 49ers and the Eagles, and the AFC Championship, the Chiefs and the Bengals. And whoever wins those two games, they're going over to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. So it is a big weekend for the NFL. Of course, BC's got to rock his Green Bay. I got to go with Rodgers and the boys, even though we've already been booted from the playoffs. Got to show that love and respect to my boys. But it's going to be a big weekend in the NFL. And it's also a big weekend for the WWE. They're putting on their big Royal Rumble event this Saturday night. Not Sunday, Saturday night. I believe that's down in Texas, I want to say. And that's going to be huge. That's going to kick off WrestleMania season. So two big events, two big conglomerates, the NFL and WWE having big weekends. And I want to go over the betting odds for WWE's Royal Rumble, the men's and the women's Rumble. There's some slots that have been flip-flopped for the Vegas odds. And usually they know some stuff. So we're going to go into detail and see how 3 and 4 for the men flip-flopped. And then I believe 3 through 5 for the women's flip-flopped. But we'll go over that in just a bit. But first, I don't have a lot of time, man. Just too much got packed into this morning. And then before you know it, the workout, which was supposed to be triceps, led into delts. And then my boys were like, well, I'm putting in 20 more minutes. And BC's like, well, if you're putting in 20, then I'm putting in 30. And we just fucking rocked it out, man. So here we are. And we're kind of pressed for time. But I'm going to make sure we got at least, with the WWE talk, at least 10, 15 minutes, guys. Try to anyway. And then there's just a lot more to take care of later. But something I need to talk about first is that Jay Briscoe tribute last night. I mean, that was just so cool. And that's what we're hoping for last week. And because of the network, it just didn't happen, right? And we all would like Tony and everybody to step up even more, but I totally understand. There comes a point where the network is like, no, and that's just the final answer, and the network has the final say, and it's just a shame that it was only a graphic last. I mean, that's what I think didn't sit well with at least a video package or something, right? Like what we got last night. Like just put together a video package. I mean, other companies were putting up tributes that were better than AEW, and that was Tony Khan's tag team champion for ROH. So a lot of people were just like, this is not right, like somebody's got to tell the network. And so a lot of people for the tribute last night, Mark Briscoe versus Jay Lethal, and then they had the sentimental, awesome video package tribute to Jay Briscoe. Mark Briscoe honoring his brother, the whole locker room coming out. I mean, this is what we wanted last week, but beggars can't be choosers, man. We got it this week. Some people are saying it's bittersweet. It's too little too late. I don't agree with that. Is it late? Yes. Should have happened a week ago? No doubt. Some people are like, oh, well, it takes a while to put together a tribute. No, it really doesn't. Really doesn't. You can put together some really special segments and aspects last week. But it is what it is, man. Is it late? Yes. Is it too little too late? Absolutely not, man. It was still so awesome. That's the right send-off for Jay, whether it's late or not. That was still really cool, and it's a good way to just honor Jay Briscoe and the legacy of Jay Briscoe. So I'm just glad that everything worked out for the Briscoes, for Tony Khan, for AEW, and for the network, man, because everybody's saying, thank you, Tony, for putting this together. Also, thank you to all of you guys who kept voicing out and saying, well, this doesn't seem right, though. You only put up a graphic, and the tribute is, like, somewhere on YouTube Lost or whatever. This should be on Dynamite, man. Like, it just didn't seem right. So you guys spoke out and said to the network, that's fucked up. And the network finally said, fine. Now, yes, it wasn't Jay Briscoe on TV, but they honored him. This is a lot more than they were going to do last week. So you guys are also just thanking Tony. Thank yourselves as well, because if everybody didn't just voice out on how wrong that was, who's to say that we would have gotten that last night? Honestly. So definite. Tony, the Young Bucks said, man, we tried so hard to get a proper tribute show on last week's Dynamite, but we just couldn't make it work. So that doesn't mean it was Tony Khan. That tells you, the Bucks are telling you that it was Warner Media. They have a relationship with Meltzer. That's how Meltzer knew that. And that was the deal. The network just blocked it. But, everybody voiced out and said that was just wrong. And the right thing happened. Tony didn't quit. So kudos to Tony Khan, the Bucks, and whoever made this happen, because they knew what was right, and they just wanted to tell the network, dude, just let us honor him in this way, and it's respect. You can't turn away respect. So it's just awesome. That was so cool to see. And I didn't catch the show. I was just too busy last night. I couldn't catch it. Still a little pissed at TBS TNT anyway, but I was able to catch the tributes, and it was so cool to see. It was so respectful, and it was so needed. You know what I mean? It's closure for a lot of people associated with Jay Briscoe that really knew that that's what needed to happen. Like, just respect. It's not that hard, man. It's totally free, and you can hand it out like fucking candy. Respect. And so that was awesome. That was awesome to see. So that's my words on that. I wasn't able to catch the show, but I was able to catch the tributes afterwards, and it was so cool. Lethal, Briscoe put on such a good match. Briscoe honoring his brother afterwards. The locker room coming out. I mean, that's cool. And I don't even want to discuss what happened in the past or last week from here on out, because Jay Briscoe deserves better than that. So we're just going to remember that and take it from there and be happy and hope that Mark Briscoe, at least, I mean, if he didn't earn that last night, if he hasn't earned it in the last 15, 20 years, last night, you would think that was his audition, right? To show Tony Khan that I should be here, or to the network or whoever's stopping him. So really cool to see. I know you guys were wondering my thoughts on that. That's my thoughts on that. Now, switching over gears, because I don't have a ton of time, but I want to talk the WWE Royal Rumble betting odds. Now, for the dudes, number one has stayed steady. Cody Rhodes is the heavy on favorite at that negative 160. He's got that 160 mark. Cody Rhodes is still the heavy favorite to win this thing. Sami Zayn remains number two. He's been there for the last week at the plus 200 spot. So it's Cody Rhodes is the Vegas favorite to win this. And usually they got some insight more than others. Cody Rhodes is the favorite. Sami Zayn is number two at a plus 200. Number 3 and 4 flip-flopped over the last several days. The Rock moved into the third spot at a plus 350. The Rock is a heavy favorite now at 3. And Seth freaking Rollins stormed in at number 4. So they flip-flopped. Rollins was 3, Rock 4. Now Seth Rollins is in at number 4. Drew McIntyre rounds out the top 5 at a plus 2,000. He's a far-out favorite at 5. I just don't see how Drew McIntyre wins this thing and goes on to take on Roman. We just got that last year, did we not? Or several times. Maybe it was Saudi Arabia. I feel like we just saw Drew McIntyre Roman. I don't see any way that Drew would win this and what it would lead to. You got 4 really good choices there with Rhodes 1, Sami Zayn 2, Rock 3, Rollins 4. Now for the women's Rumble match, and again, for the men, The Rock, I mean, all this talk about he is not going to show up for Rumble, and now he bumped into the third spot. I think he was there for like a couple of days, and then all of a sudden Rollins just totally replaced him for over a week. The Rock has came back into the third spot, plus 200, or plus 350, Rollins plus 850. So even Rollins and Rock, there's a gap between 3 and 4. But the heavy odds-on favorites are Cody Rhodes 1, Sami Zayn 2. The women's Rumble, Rhea Ripley is the negative 140. Rhea Ripley is the odds-on favorite to win this thing via Vegas odds. So Rhea Ripley is your number 1. Becky Lynch is your number 2 at a plus 300. There's a little bit of a gap. I mean, it's not the furthest thing, but Rhea Ripley is kind of running away with that. Becky Lynch in at number 2. If you're going to pick one out of the two, I think most of us would agree Rhea Ripley would have to win that thing. There's no reason for Becky to win that. Take on either Charlotte or Belair. I mean, Rhea Ripley and the momentum she can gauge from this. I mean, with Judgment Day, I feel she's been being booked really good, and that's without wrestling the majority of the time. Could you imagine what a Rumble win, if done correctly, could do for her? Becky Lynch again, number 2, plus 300. The third odds-on favorite for the women is Raquel Rodriguez at a plus 500. So she's close to Becky. With a couple days left, Raquel could jump over Becky for the second spot. And I think that's going to happen, actually. I would think, I don't know if anybody would need to see Raquel win the Rumble. I don't know if she's ready for that. But I think you would pick her over Bex, I would think, right? We'll see, man. But Raquel is 3. Bayley is in at number 4 at a plus 600. She's really close to Raquel. So Bayley could jump over Raquel and take the third spot. Raquel could drop back to 4. And then number 5, the 5th odds-on favorite, is Alexa Bliss at a plus 750. So 3, 4, and 5 for the heavy odds-on favorite to win the Women's Rumble, guys. Raquel in at 3, Bayley at 4, Lex at 5, and only 250 on the point range actually fucking separates them. Raquel at a plus 500, Alexa at a plus 750, Bayley between them at a plus 600. So in the next 2 days, they could just flip-flop Raquel, Bayley, and Alexa easily. But the heavy odds-ons right now is Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch. Look to be running away with that. And Raquel, Bayley, and Alexa have been flip-flopping for the past several days anyway. They're still pretty close. So that's the deal on that as well. And a big salute over to Billy Gunn, man, badass Billy Gunn. I saw a thing a couple weeks ago where they were taping from Los Angeles, and they were doing a Rampage taping, and the Acclaimed came out. And Max Caster actually, he fucked up his rap. So he caught it real quick, but he just couldn't get it back in rhythm. So he said, LA, let's try this again. And the fans started to boo. So Billy actually saved it. Billy goes, and this is why I've only said 2 words my entire career. And then the fans laughed, and then the Acclaimed came out. This was from a couple weeks ago, but I had forgotten to mention that a couple of times. So I just wanted to say that as well, man. Like big props to Billy for saving that. And real quick as well, keeping with AEW, Britt Baker. She does have an injury that's going to keep her out for a few weeks, but it's not supposed to be for several months like what was originally reported. Last night's triple threat match obviously had to be changed up to just a singles Ruby Soho versus Toni Storm match, but Baker did come out at the end of that and cause a little bit of the distraction there. But she is going to be out from what we're hearing for a few weeks. But Baker, just her showing up, that tells you that it's not going to be several months. I think she wants to stay kind of in the thick of that storyline with Ruby, Toni Storm, Saraya. So, and before I forget, because I almost did, Stone Cold and Roman Reigns. You guys know by now there's been a lot of talk about them main eventing WrestleMania if WWE cannot get The Rock. Which is, it just seems asinine to me because you have 2 really good storylines already in front of you with Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. That's all you really need. Night 1, night 2, you could have Roman have 2 matches, right? Sami Zayn night 1 of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes night 2. Or flip-flop them, put a title on the line for both, split up the titles, or one's just a grudge match, one's for the WWE Universal Championship. It wouldn't matter. You have 2 matches if you want for Roman, even without The Rock in play. So I don't know why WWE feels like they have to get Stone Cold to replace The Rock for Mania. But what I am hearing is, yes, a big money offer was sent to Stone Cold for a match with Roman Reigns. That did not get debunked. It just got more confirmed over the last 48 hours. Now, if that's the case, then is that for Mania if Rock can't make it? Or is that just a money offer for Saudi Arabia, right? Roman gets $1 million, maybe Stone Cold gets $1 million. Who knows? But it doesn't make sense for Mania when you have Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. I don't know, unless you guys would rather Stone Cold Roman and not Cody or Sami at Mania. I just don't see how everything's shaping up for Cody Rhodes versus Roman. And then you have this awesome storyline with Sami. So now a lot of people want to see Sami Roman. I just don't know how Stone Cold fits into it. I'm not saying they can't garner a good story. But just if The Rock doesn't make it, so we have to get another legend like Stone Cold, I mean, that's just not needed. Unless they're doing something for Saudi as a exhibition match, in which case I could be much better off with. It was like Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns, right? It's not that big of a deal. A lot of people just started going into an hysteria. It was just a Saudi Arabia show. And it was, Triple H just wanted to put Logan Paul in that situation, see if he could spread his wings and fly, and he did. Logan Paul did really good. Ended up getting injured, unfortunately, but it's one of those, Saudi Arabia is kind of used for those exhibition-type matchups. So I think better suited than WrestleMania. I still want to see Stone Cold, definitely at Mania, but why not like LA Knight versus Stone Cold? I love that idea, and I could just think of the story, the promos, all that. So, but... yeah, that didn't get debunked. That's just now like we're hearing more of that Stone Cold and Roman Reigns is becoming more of a possibility for either Mania or beyond, and that would mean Saudi Arabia, unless they're doing a SummerSlam thing. I just don't see how Stone Cold fits into the Roman Reigns sector, but remains to be seen. Amp Unit, salute. Rumble this weekend. Enjoy it. Hopefully, I'll be with you in some capacity. I would hope to like to do that live, but either way, you'll get a good, the bad, and the ugly review, either live or the next day. But you're going to get a big review on that, and I hope you guys have been enjoying all the content. I know this was a little bit shorter than we usually do, but there's just a lot to get to. I've been pumping out content all January for you guys. I hope you guys have been enjoying the content. I know you guys have been, because February is looking a little bit more tight, man. There's a lot of things that have to get done, and January, you guys got a lot of content. February might be a little less, but hopefully you guys are definitely enjoying it, and we'll rock it out for the Rumble for sure. But it's a big weekend for the NFL, man. Those four teams, the Bengals and the Chiefs, the 49ers and the Eagles. I'm still going to rep my Green Bay and Rodgers and the boys, but those four teams deserved it. Four really good quarterbacks, and it's going to be some good play. And then the Rumble on Saturday night. Salute, unit. We'll rock it out this weekend. Check you.